Sometime later, after not finding cheese for the what seemed like a long time, Haw finally came across a huge cheese station, which looked promising when he went inside. However, he was much disappointed to discover that the cheese station was empty. This empty feeling has happened to me too often. He thought he felt like giving up, or was losing his physical strength. He knew he was lost and was afraid he would not survive. He thought about turning around and heading back to the cheap station. See, at least if he made it back and him was still there, how wouldn't be alone? Then he asked himself the same question again. What would I do if I weren't afraid? I thought he was past his fear, but he was afraid more often than he liked to admit, even to himself. He wasn't always sure what he was afraid of, but in his weakened condition, he knew now he was simply fearful of going on alone. He did not know it, but he was running behind because he was still weighted down by the fearful beliefs. Haw wondered if Hem had moved on or if he was still paralyzed by his own fear. Then Haw remembered the time when he had felt his best in the maze. It was when he was moving alone. He wrote on the wall, knowing it was as much a reminder to himself as it was a marking for his friend him, hopefully to follow. Movement in a new direction help you find a new cheese. Hall looked down the dark passageway and was aware of his fear. What lay ahead? Was it empty or worse? Were there danger lurking? He began to imagine all kind of frightened things that could happen to him. He was scaring himself to death. Then he laughed at himself. He realized his fear were making things worse. So he did what would do if he weren't afraid. He moved in a new direction. As he started running down the dark corridor, he began to smile. He did not realize it yet, but he was discovering what nourished his soul. He was letting go and trusting what lay ahead of him, even though he did not know exactly what it was. No, to his surprise, he started to enjoy himself more and more. Why do I feel so good? He wondered. I don't have any cheese, and I don't know where I am going. Before long, he knew why he felt good. He stopped to write again on the wall. When you stop being afraid, you feel good. When you stop being afraid, you feel good. I realized he had been held captive by his own fear. Moving in a new direction had freed him. Now he felt the cool breeze that was boiling in this part of maze, and it was refreshing. He took in some deep breath and felt invigorated by the movement. When he had got past his fear, it turned out to be the more enjoyable than he once believed it could be. Hart did not felt this way for a long time. He had almost forgotten how much fun it was to go for it. To make things even better, he started to paint a picture in his mind again. He saw himself in a great realistic detail, sitting in the middle of the pile of all his favorite cheese, from cheddar to brie. He saw himself eating the many cheeses he liked, and he enjoyed what he saw. Then he imagined how much he would enjoy all their great taste. The more clearly he saw the image of himself enjoying the new cheese, the more real and believable it became. He could sense that he was going to find it. He wrote, imagine yourself enjoying your new cheese. Let's you to do it. Let's you to it. Hawk kept thinking about what he could gain instead of the what he what he was losing. He wondered why he had always thought that a change would lead to something worse. Now he realized that change could lead to something better. Why didn't I see this before? He asked himself. Then he raced through the maze with a greater strength and agility. Before long, he spotted a cheese station and became extinct as he noticed little pieces of new cheese near the entrance. Then they were types of cheese he had never seen before, but they looked great. He tried them and found that they were delicious. He ate most of the new cheese bites that were available and put a few in his pocket to have later and perhaps share with him. He began to regain his strength. He entered the cheese station with a great excitement, but to his dismay, he found it was empty. Somehow had already been there and had left only the few bites of new cheese. He realized that if he had moved sooner, he would very likely have found a good deal of new cheese here. He decided to go back and see if Ham was ready to join him. As he retraced his steps, he stopped and wrote on the wall, "The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find a new cheese."